Hi everyone, this is Jove. I'm in a very special event. In this Forward Deployed Caffeine, we invite Kevin Bai. He's a KOL in this space, leader on many different things, and we're happy to grab some time with Kevin and talk about FDE. So maybe you can do a self-intro, even you are so famous, but
I don't think I'm that famous.
Yeah.
Happy to do an introduction. Hi there, my name is Kevin. I too have a podcast. It's called the FDE Pod, and I happen to work at Rippling right now. I was the first person to join there to help them build up their FDE org. Before that, I was at Palantir for a number of years. I'm here chatting with Jove, who is head of FDE at Cresta. So maybe we take turns asking each other questions?
Yeah, that'd be great, sure.
Yeah, okay. So let's just start with like very basic explanations. What is Cresta? And then where does FDE fit into the business of Cresta?
Sure. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about my company. I'm an employer. So again, I mean, just set the context because the context really matters, right? No matter for building an agent or have this conversation. So to set the context is, Cresta is the enterprise AI company, so focusing on transforming the customer experience to leveraging AI agents so that it can be more engaging. It can help human agents to do more high-value things, so avoid always let the human agent repeat themselves, do some boring stuff. And so we FDE at Cresta build the AI agent for customers, primarily using voice, but also can be other digital channels, can be chat, can be email, can be WhatsApp.
So I know there's a few competitors you have in this space. There's Sierra, there's Decagon.
Yep.
What's kind of the differentiation point for Cresta? Is it because you're primarily focused on voice?
Voice certainly is our strength because it's so intuitive, right? But there's so many easy ways you can get things wrong, right? Voice can be, may not be heard things right, cannot pronounce the thing in the right way. There can be latency, there can be anything. Compared to our competitor, we are not the first one or the only one in this space. I guess one of the key strengths, just like Tesla, right? So Tesla starting from level 1, level 2, this is self-driving, and now they are quite good. So I know the AI is almost there, but if you start a new company today or last year, and only want to use AI to automate this conversation, you still lack of the data. That's actually the strength of Cresta. We've been there for 9 years. We always work on the enterprise AI. A lot of customers such as Marriott, United use Cresta software to make their human agent more effective, and they can do the automatic search, they can do the transfer. So now they just taking some of the easy use cases and let AI to do it. But those historical data can be a good pattern for us to figure out what's the typical question we should ask, what's the most effective way to answer things. So those data is really the key.
Yeah, the data being the key is a huge theme with FDE. But then where is the FDE angle for Cresta, right? Why do you guys have this org, and how did you get into this role?
Yeah, I know you are the first FDE in Ripple, and me and the second FDE in Cresta. And soon after that, I spent a lot of time on the hiring side. But I would say FDE in Cresta is really to build and test and monitor that AI agent for customers. So as I mentioned, that is voice AI or other AI agent can be easily built as a demo, but it's very hard to go production. Then our system is quite sophisticated. So there can be thousands of API, like a lot of parameters. So if you ask the customer, no matter how technical they are, if they give them documentation, give them tutorial, give them the UI, they may take, 3 months, 6 months to know what's the right way to do it. Even so, our products keep moving. So it's very hard to ask a customer, no matter how technical they are, to use our platform, build an AI agent by themselves. So more effective way that is, we as FDE, we know the best practice of our platform, also what's the difference between different models, and we work very closely. We forward deploy to the customer side, knowing what's your API, what's your knowledge base, and in the end, build the searching for them. And we're happy to share our code, share everything to them so that they can make a change by themselves. But they don't have to learn, they don't have to understand all the complexity of our system, just get to the outcome.
The thing you're saying is that your platform is very advanced and it's very powerful, but the trouble you're running into is that your customers either can't use it as effectively as your FDEs, or maybe they don't have that willingness, right? And then you don't want to
have the time, right?
Or they don't have the time, yeah.
Yes.
And the thing you don't want is you don't want to make sure you have a situation where a customer says, oh, Cresta doesn't work, but that's just because they didn't put enough time into it.
Yes.
That's kind of the problem you're getting rid of, right?
Yeah.
Is you're just going to them and you're saying, if you want automation for your CX things, don't worry about it. I will send my team, and then we will go and we'll see what the problem is, and we'll solve it for you. Is that kind of the shape?
Yeah, exactly. I guess everyone talking about the outcome.
Yeah.
Right. So people are saying SaaS is dead. I'm not sure what I agree with that. If you're just selling by seat, by user, it's not good enough, right?
Yeah.
And if you sell by outcome, people calculate whether my customer are getting happy, they wait less, and
seats just doesn't make sense anymore in this day and age, especially with agents, right?
Yeah.
Because one of the things is that agents makes it so that one person is way more effective than before.
Yes.
And so what if your software is so good, you actually reduce the number of seats you need, right?
Exactly. Yeah. In the end, it's not the user use it; it is the agent use it, right?
Exactly. and then you don't even care about who's using it. You care about in your situation how many customer situations are resolved, right?
Yes.
That's the end outcome.
Yeah, so I would say everyone, especially in the AI space, or even we as the AI vendor, we certainly move things fast.
Yeah.
Our customers, no one really want to be the first set of people try new model, but no one want to be the last.
Yeah.
So everyone, I know last year we got some customer design partners work with us, but this year this requirement, this need gets double, triple, 5, because no one want to be the last.
Yeah.
Everyone want to transform themselves to be AI native, and they leverage AI to reduce the cost, make customer happy. And sorry, this is a very long answer, but how about you guys? I know you're coming from original creator of FDE, right, Palantir. I always want to ask this question, but this is my very unique chance to ask you that. Do you think for the success of Palantir, what's the percentage or kind of a ratio of the FDE model is in that factor? So is that 10%?
What is the contribution of FDE to the success of Palantir? Well, it's a great question because the answer is 100%. At Palantir, right, as I mentioned earlier on stage, there is no SKU that you can buy off the shelf, right? If you show up and you say, I am a customer and I would like to buy something, you will have to work with an FDE. 100% of the delivery is through that, just because of exactly the trend that you identified with Cresta, is that there are customers who have so many barriers to being able to get to value with solving their problems. And even though Foundry as a platform is very inherently powerful, right? Just because you have a kitchen knife that's really, really sharp does not mean that someone holding it immediately becomes a good chef, right? There is still this element of expertise. Another way I could explain this is that if you put someone in a fast car, will they drive quickly? Of course. But if you put someone in a fast car, will they win an F1 race? Maybe not, right? And so there's the difference between having the best tools and also having the best people to use those tools to achieve a certain outcome.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. And because this podcast have a caffeine in the title, the other metaphor that is, say we have nice coffee, right? So even you buy the most expensive machine, you have the nice bean, you have the equipment, but if you don't have the skill, then you don't really can have a very nice latte as those professional guys give you, right?
Yeah, and then there's also, of course, the experience as a whole, right? So one thing that Alex Karp, is the CEO of Palantir, likes to say is that the FDE model was actually deeply inspired by French dining. And so when you show up to a fine dining restaurant, right, you have someone who shows up that is your waiter, and yes, they are there nominally to serve you food. They are there to deliver something to you. But then they're also responsible for your entire experience as you're there. How do you feel about the restaurant? What is the ambiance? What is your sentiment, right? Are you celebrating something? And that experience as well is equally important when you work with a customer, because what do customers want? Yes, they want their problem solved, but they want to feel special. They want to feel like working with you is a joy and a delight. And the way that you do that is by giving them personalized, custom attention. And so what we found was that this was not only a great way to develop technology, but rather this was also a fantastic way to do business, right? And the two go hand in hand once you work in enterprise.
Yeah. Even, I guess one of my FDE members mentioned this is almost like Japanese omakase. That is, if you trust a restaurant, trust a chef, you don't really know what you're going to get. So you just go there, the chef asks you what's the occasion and what you generally like, depends on what's the best food what best fish today and to give you some surprises.
Yes, and I like that you mentioned this because a part of FDE is prescriptive.
Yes.
You are there to serve the customer, but you are not there to blindly say yes to everything that they ask for, right? Because if you never disagree with the customer, what's going to happen is that you'll build exactly what they ask for. But so rare is it that the customer knows what it is that they want, because if they knew exactly what they would want, what opportunity do you have to go in and help them solve it, right? Your job is to also go in there and prescribe the correct solution to their problem. And so I also view that as a fundamental piece of the FDE function.
Yeah, especially we as FDE may work with different customer, and even we right now say we are serving for airline companies, but we might already serve for 5, 10 more other airlines, or for example, on the dental or some other stuff. So FDE can gain those domain knowledge even deeper than the average person on the other side.
Exactly, exactly. Did you say you guys work with dental companies?
Yes.
Oh, that's funny, because like Cresta sounds kind of like Crest, you know, like the toothpaste.
Okay. Yeah, dental, yeah, I would say banking, dental, those kind of traditional business because, for example, also regarding our target users, right? So if you want to book a flight, maybe you're just using mobile phone or web. But for other people in the elder age, they might just want to make a phone call, especially for the insurance, for the dental.
Right.
And that's, the voice experience is so natural for them. They don't want to put on glasses and use a small screen. So voice is so important. Maybe in 3-5 years later, agent talk to agent, then the voice doesn't really matter. But for now, the voice aging is such a great way to improve the customer experience. You don't have to wait so long, and you can get the AI do the right thing for you, and also you don't have to hire and train a bunch of human agents. Okay, cool. I guess there's a lot of exciting stuff happening this month, right? I think most of us, so OpenAI and Anthropic, they all announce either acquire or have a new company set up to do the FDE type of work. For me, I get a lot of ask. Even people never know what FDE now. They saw the kind of a news and this got their attention. Do you think is that a good news or bad news? Is that too many different variation of FDE? Then people really lose the clear definition of what FDE, or even doesn't really matter?
Yeah, so I think generally speaking, it's good that more companies are adopting this, because I do believe this is like the right way and also the best way to win an enterprise. But it also doesn't bother me that different companies have different definitions of it, because similarly, right? Like no company has the same definition of what a software engineer should do either, right? Like that's also a role that's like very, very dynamic. And then over time, there became more specific terms, right? You have front-end engineers, you have back-end engineers, you have DevOps engineers. You have like this general process where like there's this specialization. That's going to have to happen with FDE as well, and then eventually the industry is going to have to collapse around certain terms. But then that's too macro, right? I think day in and day out, my priority and my concern is with the success of my customers. And at the end of the day, FDE is not about serving yourself; it's about serving your customer. And so that whatever the other people want to call it, by all means, right? If the customer's happy, I'm good.
Yeah, I was on a table last night and people saying, yeah, everyone talking about FDE is so popular, just like 10 years ago, people talking about DS, data scientist. Now maybe data scientist in a tough position because AI can create a CQ and kill the BI stuff. And do you think that is a lot of engineers, they might facing challenge to be a backend or front-end or full stack? Do you think half of them or certain percentage of those engineers will be FDE eventually if they want to keep leveraging their technical skill to solve real problems?
Oh, that's a tough question. So I think there's always going to be a role for software engineers. A lot of the automation that's come about in this day and age has really augmented software engineers rather than replace them, I would say. There's a lot of companies that claim that, but I've yet to find anyone who's comfortable enough, just directly removing headcount and trading that for agents in the kind of like higher leverage work like software engineering. I do think that being a good software engineer is a really nice background into being a good FDE, and so there is probably going to be some pull into this role, but that doesn't necessarily mean that like there's going to be a great decrease of software engineers. Okay. For your company, I'm curious, what's the profile of folks that you hire? And then, how technical are they? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I guess we all agree there's a 2 or 3 or more hats on every single FDE, right? So that's make our hiring so challenging because we cannot just hire a good programmer or architect. Yeah, you mentioned your slide that is the PM skills, consultant background. So for me, right now my team size is 30, and I'm probably will hire the other 30 or 50. I'm not sure whether we can make 3-digit this year because, I mean, again, I would say I'm very lucky to in this kind of voice AI or concept AI because this really one of the best racetrack for enterprise AI, right? I'm not sure about say generating image or generating video or coding. I mean, those are the competition is brutal. But for the context AI, even we are not the only one, but there's a real need. There are real money over there. But so that's the reason why we are replicate starting from US, Canada, then also in APAC. But I would say my preferred way that is, I want to hire someone very solid as engineer, ideally full stack, even ideally as founding engineer, so that they know.
Do your FDEs own the customer relationship directly, or do you have a model that's a little more like Decagon and those other companies where there's a PM type person?
Yeah, mainly inspired by your former employer, we have a Forward Deployed PM. So the Forward Deployed PM is, well, I would say the reason why we have that kind of role is to solve the bandwidth issue or make the FDE hiring less challenging. Ideally, the person FDE we hire can be manage the relationship, can be manage the risk, even cost, and writing the test evals, writing the prompt, everything. But it will be very challenging. So what we do that is, we have this role for Deployed PM. They are very good, work with people. They know best way to define the call flow, to write the test evals. Almost anything not so technical, they can do it. And also they spend a lot of time with customers. So we as FDE can more influence in the technical way. Or we almost like a mini CTO, and the FDPM is more like a mini CEO.
Okay. Yeah. And then that FDPM org, is that part of your team as well, or is that separate?
No, the FDPM roll out to the PM org. So roll out to the head of product, and me is the head of FDE, roll out to the VP engineering, but we are not in the PS or CS org.
Very interesting. What's the handshake like between the FDPM org and the FDE org? Right? How close is that interaction?
Yeah, we meet multiple days a day. Right, so we also forward deploy together, right? So it's very common. We visit the customer, especially at the early stage of the project, knowing the stakeholders, knowing the high-level goal, the detailed stuff, the API, whether it's working, whether we can get access to some test environment, and also having coffee, having beer, having dinner, build a trust, have some small talk.
I love it. I love it.
So that's more like, usually I never have anyone in my team spend more than 1 week for one travel. So it can be 2 days, it can be 4 days, and maybe 2 or 3 months later we visit again to see, hey, whether we can launch our product or we can want to do some UAT. In the middle we have daily or weekly meetings, and we always work very closely with FDPM. Yeah.
Maybe a separate question.
Sure.
What is the mapping of resources to customers? Is it one person to one customer full time, one person to a book of customers? What's kind of that structure for you guys?
My current setup that is every project will have 2 or more FDE. It's mainly for the purpose of learning, peer review, and making sure people comfortable taking times off. Right? If you are the only one, there can be kind of single point failure, right? Or if you get sick or you have some important stuff, there might be some delay. So I put at least 2 person in one project. In the same time, one person work on 2 or 3 or 4 different projects. And I try to find a certain pattern, say, this person already work on A insurance use case, maybe he can work on the other insurance case. Or this person work on PCI, payment related stuff. He gained the knowledge about what can be put, what cannot be put regarding PCI. Then I try to build a certain FDE expertise either on domain knowledge or the technical domain knowledge. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I think that's a common trend, is that over time, you put people into pods and then they specialize, right?
Yes.
Into not just doing FDE at Cresta, but then FDE at Cresta for airplanes specifically.
Yeah, we even want to do one step further. That is, it's not a pod for one client or two clients. It's a set of, we 5 FDE together with 2 PM, they as a group, they build the trust very well. They know the communication style, preference, and they can work on like a lot of projects in the same time. So right now, my current situation, I have to be honest, that is, I try to arrange person on demand ad hoc because almost every week there's new FDE joining my team. There's always new projects. So I also intentionally want to create a certain mix, that is, you can work with multiple FDPM, but to be clear, that is every FDPM might have different level of communication style, technical style. So if one FDE work with 5 or 6 PM in the same time, it can be too much switch or multitasking. So if we can have a relative stable pod, right? There's a 4 FDE together with this 2 PM work together almost all the time, that'll be easier.
Just so that they don't have to relearn those communication norms and then those collaboration norms, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're getting to a good point to wrap up the podcast.
Yes.
One question that I always like to ask is, what is it that's going on with your FDE org that you need help with? Or what is a question that you would like an answer to? Always want to see where it is that I can help.
Yeah, I would say we are very excited to build a team, and a lot of AI aging FDE, they are a great builder, right? And what I'm worried about that is because we work on so many projects, and every project can be 2 weeks to 2 months, even half a year. But there's still a time that is we do handover, right? The AI agent is running there, and unless there's some outage, we don't want to make any changes, or we just do some very small changes, then I am not quite sure whether it is time for me to hire those AI experts in this kind of a maintenance role. When I work for other large company, we have this sustaining engineers. Those software engineer is hired for creating patch, not creating features. So those engineer, when they in the hiring process, they have the expectation that it's okay. I'm okay with someone else's code, not going to create my own code. But for the case of FDE, because usually we find those people very passionate building stuff, and I feel a little bit pressure if I say, hey, I'm going to hire you, but you are not going to build a new agent, you are going to maintain other people's agent. Or I'm not sure whether say this is more like service conference, not sure whether we can hire some professional service or customer engineer really focusing on sustaining, but they don't have to make changes to the product, they don't have to build a brand new agent. What do you take?
So the situation that you're in, if I can get the whole lay of the land, right, is that you're right now able to hire really good folks. You have a team of 30, they're all excellent builders, and your concern is that if you put them onto maintenance work, or you hire a new person onto maintenance work, they won't enjoy it as much, or it won't lead to their development as much. And then you're thinking about, should I hire maybe someone who's just focused on maintenance engineering? So my recommendation would not be to do that, because I think there's very few people who enjoy that kind of capacity and that kind of role. Now, there are folks that you can hire into a support capacity, but maintenance engineering, you're kind of in a very unfortunate hybrid situation where this person can build, but then is also just doing support, right? Okay. And so I think that might play out even worse than hiring someone to be an FDE, but then putting them on maintenance. The way that I would think about this is that the opportunity to work with a customer on maintenance should not be like, customer gives you a ticket, you go fix it. If it's as simple as that, I think that's something you should look into having AI automate, or having the original build be of such high quality that those issues are few and far between. But I think maintenance is actually a really valuable opportunity to re-engage with the customer, right? So like, say the customer complains about something. Hopefully, they're using the product, and that's why they're finding all of these edges to complain about. And so as you're fixing it, and then as you're delivering the fix to the customer, right, if you could train your team to also speak with them and ask what else they might be interested in, or what other things might be good for them if you could only build it for them, then that's how you find additional opportunities for your folks to work. And so if we can change the narrative around maintenance, right? From you're just there to fix individual issues to you are there to find issues, but also to find new business. And by the way, if you find that business, you go work on it. I think that becomes a lot more exciting to people.
Yeah, it's very inspiring. Yeah, maintenance, everything can have two sides, right? If you operate right, it can be your upsell opportunity.
Yeah, some of my best work has been, customer wants to churn, and then they talk to FDE. And through talking with me, not only do I get to, solve a problem for them and sell an FDE deal to them, we also renew the customer for a longer period of time than ever before. Okay. And that's actually way cooler than going to a customer and saying, hey, here's a net new thing.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, again, this is super great advice. And Kevin, is there anything you want to share with me as advice or to our FDE audience that is, I'm not sure, say if you guys just started building FDE team or you're middle of FDE team, something you try to, hey, don't go that route, go this one, make some mistake, don't make mistake.
Oh my gosh, there's too many things to say here. High level, right, I would say your FDE org should be empowered to focus on the success of your customers. Mm-hmm. If they are seeing a situation where they have blockers, or they have issues, or they have people in between them and the customer, you're not really doing all that you can to set them up for success. So that's kind of the high level message that I would send out. And then for any folks that are listening to this podcast, if you are looking to set up an FDE function, I do help out with companies here and there on a consulting basis. So let me know.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. Feel free to leave a comment, and happy to connect on LinkedIn and other places. Thanks so much. It's a great talk. Thanks for the advices. Thank you, everyone. Next time. Yeah.